Creepy. Hello YouTubers, and welcome to yet another review of another Doctor Who episode from Series 1. I continue to take a look at 10 years of New Who with The Long Game, which is another story written by Russell T Davies. He wrote quite a few episodes out of Series 1, didn't he? So, without further ado, what do I think of this story? Yet again, let's take a look at what it says on the DVD. This time it's on Series 1 Volume 3. So that's the cover. One of my favourite covers, because you've actually got monsters from different stories from this series. So you've got the Empty Child and the Reapers in the background. Quite like this cover. I like how it's green as well. So, The Long Game. In the far future, Satellite 5 broadcasts to the entire Earth Empire. Nothing escapes the eye of the sinister editor, and the Doctor suspects mankind is being manipulated. But just who is the editor working for? And does Adam have what it takes to become the Time Lord's companion? And I think we all know the answer to that. No, he doesn't. I'm going to start off by talking about Adam, because I've seen at the end of Dalek, Adam comes on board the TARDIS. So, I don't know really. Is he classed as a companion? Some say he is, some say he isn't. I mean, if you go on Wikipedia, I think he is classed as a companion, kind of. But in my opinion, if that's so, then he's not worthy of being a companion, in my opinion. Adam is one of the most annoying characters that you would ever encounter in Doctor Who, and I think the character was made to show what would it be like if a companion did this or this, and sort of put the Doctor at risk and the whole human race at risk. And because of that, at the end of the story, Adam actually doesn't become a permanent companion. The Doctor drops him off back on Earth. But anyhow, at the start of the story, the TARDIS lands on Satellite 5. You get a nice introduction. It just basically shows how Rose has grown. She knows all the ins and outs of being a member of the TARDIS crew now, and she's the one who explains everything. They're on Satellite 5, this big space station that broadcasts all sorts of different things to the planet Earth, the fourth and great bountiful human empire. And that's more or less the start of the story. Then there's all these flaws on Satellite 5, and the whole idea is people are doing these jobs and they click their fingers and then the head opens up and you see the brain inside the head, and they do all these jobs and they all get promoted to this floor called Floor 500, so it's the highest floor you could ever go on. But when you go onto 500, the room is all cold and mysterious, all icy, and makes you think, ooh, what's going on here then? It's all, it's all sort of icy and chilling, a very chilling atmosphere. Anyway, the villain of the story is the editor, as played by Simon Pegg, who of course we all know and love as various different characters from films, and of course Scotty from the new rebooted Star Trek films that started in 2009. So it was good to see that Simon Pegg was actually in Doctor Who, because he's a massive sci-fi nerd, like most of us on YouTube. I mean, let's face it, there's a massive science fiction community on YouTube who go to conventions and things. A lot of people just make action figure reviews, DVD reviews, you know, a bit like me really. But obviously my main focus point on this channel is Doctor Who. So to see an actual fan of sci-fi be part of the show so early on in its revival as well, it's fantastic really. Simon Pegg gives a very chilling performance, and yeah, I know I keep putting puns in there, but it is true. I like how all his face is made up as well. You get the feeling that he's been on floor 500 for a long time. You get all these workers as well, and especially some of these skeletons, and it's really disturbing. And you get the sense that these workers are dead, but they're still operating. Like their minds are being controlled by something even more sinister. Alright. Sorry, I was just talking to my friend up there, the mighty Jagrafess. Yes, of course. The Jagrafess, it's another CGI monster that was introduced, and it's actually the main villain. Whether you call it the main villain, I don't know. It's the main monster anyway. I suppose the main villain is the editor, played by Simon Pegg. But like I said, Simon Pegg gives a fantastic performance as the editor. It's such a shame that he didn't appear a lot more often after this. I would have liked the editor to be more of a recurring villain in the show, and it was such a shame. It was just a one-off appearance, I guess. But there you go. Also, in this episode, I believe this is the first time in the whole series, like so far, that the Doctor and Rose haven't actually been separated. They've more or less been together all the way through the episode. The Doctor and Rose never separated. And it's actually the Doctor and Rose getting separated from Adam, who just generally acts like a dick, basically. He thinks he knows everything, and he goes to get the thing implanted into his head, and then he just messes everything up. And he just puts everybody at risk, and that's why he deserves to go. I think the supporting cast, they're good. It's not the best supporting cast I've ever seen, but they do the job. They do the bit. One of them actually saves the day. So the Doctor and Rose don't actually save the day. Neither does Adam. Arguably, Adam messes everything up. One of my favourite scenes is when the Doctor sabotages the lift, because he wants to find out where all these people are going, to why they have to go to floor 500, and he thinks that something's going wrong. So he investigates, he goes up the lift, and then he encounters the editor. And I think the scenes between Christopher Eccleston and the editor are really good, and of course Billie Piper's also very good, alongside Eccleston and against Simon Pegg. And I really like the confrontation scene where Simon Pegg confronts the Doctor. He doesn't know who he is, how they get on board, and he asks all the workers, "Oh, who is he?" And according to the workers, he doesn't exist, neither does she, because they're time travels. But then when Adam connects to the network, that's when everything goes all tits up, and then he finds out more or less who he is. He's called the Doctor, he's a Time Lord, and this is Rose, his companion from the 21st century. So, I think at the end, when can't remember her name. The supporting character, she connects to this network thing on board a satellite, and she overpowers the Jaggerfest because they don't expect her to be there. They don't realise she's in the room, and then the Jaggerfest it's destroyed because the room overheats. So that's why floor 500 is all icy, and at the end it's revealed that the Jaggerfest controls everything. So everything in the satellite it controls, everything on Earth it controls, because Satellite 5 more or less controls all the activities that are going on down on Earth. Because Earth, if you look at Earth at the start of the episode, it doesn't exactly look like the Earth we all know and love, which is all green and blue and cloudy and everything. It's just dull and grey. So something catastrophic has happened just before the events of when this episode took place. And again, another scene in this episode I really like is the final scene where Adam is dropped off by the Doctor, because earlier on he tried to call his mother and give all this information that he found out, because he went into the future. And of course, in Doctor Who we all know, if you go into the future and you go back in time with the knowledge and then you tell everyone what happens, it could cause a space-time paradox. So the Doctor had no choice but to leave Adam there for his punishment, and he didn't get rid of the thing that opens on the head. And then easily the funniest moment, the actual last moment you see in this episode, is when the mother walks in and then you said, you know, time just goes like... Anyhow, it's time to give a score for this episode. While I don't think this is the best episode out of Series 1, I think it's decent. This episode gets quite a lot of hate, and I've never quite understood why. Whether people think that Simon Pegg plays the role in a camp way or something, I don't know what it is. I think the Jaggerfest is a good idea, and I overall like the set designs. I think the music by Murray Gold is, as usual in this series, very good, especially when you see Floor 500 for the first time. You get the sense that it is a cold and icy area. It gives it a very chilling atmosphere, both in the metaphoric way and a physical way as well. But I don't think it's the best episode of Series 1, don't get me wrong. It isn't. But it's not the worst. I feel the weakest out of Series 1 may be Boomtown, but you'll find out why when I come to reviewing that episode in a few weeks' time. So, I'm trying to think of a score. What could I give for this episode? I'm probably going to give this a 6 out of 10. Yeah, going to give it a 6 out of 10. So thank you very much everybody for watching yet another review by me, the Obsessive 95. I hope you're having a great day. Tune in next time as I shall be reviewing the 8th episode out of Series 1, entitled Father's Day.